Hi, boys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed reading these series, and maybe you have a favorite series that you really like. And make sure you recommend that to a friend and tell your teacher about what series you've discovered that you really like. Um, I know my own kids have fell in love with series on and off with a different series and they really feel like that character becomes their friend. What we're going to do today is we're going to think about, remember how we found patterns in a series? We're really going to think about how the character in one story matches what happens in another story of the same series. So I'm really going to focus on Boris, this first one. And remember, Boris on the Move. I read this to you where Boris is with his family and he wants to go on some kind of adventure. And his parents get his bus that he lives in, or I guess it's a bus, moving. And they go to a park and he thinks in the park that there's a lion, but it's actually a cat. And he gets lost and he finds his parents at the end, and then he gets to keep the cat. And his imagination is in here a lot, isn't it? He thinks of the books he likes to read and what gives him an imagination. So now I'm going to read a little bit of this Boris Gets a Lizard for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and think about how Boris is the same in both books and how Boris is a little bit different in both books. So I'm going to read some of Boris Gets a Lizard to you. I'm going to skip that first part because it's the same. Here we go. Chapter 1. Boris liked pets. Did he like a pet in this book? Yes, he did. His cat, right? There's his cat right there. So the author's putting in a little clue for you. Think back. He had lots of pets. There was Lion the cat. There were his chickens, Ethel and Tina. And there was Frank the sheep. And there was Quince the duck. There was a week he also had 6 worms, 2 spiders, a huge beetle, and a tiny skink. But Boris really wanted a Komodo dragon. What a great pet. I see him with that thought bubble, and he's imagining something again, isn't he? Did he imagine something in this book? Yeah, he imagined the lion, remember? I'm seeing some similarities there. Every Tuesday, he gave a talk with his class about Komodo dragons. The biggest lizard in the world is a Komodo dragon. They can grow up to 9 feet long. They have sharp teeth and poisonous spit, and they live in Indonesia. Oh, remember last time he was thinking about Africa? I think this guy likes maps and geography. That's right, Indonesia, a long, long, long way from Hog Bay. Chapter 2. Mom and Dad and Boris were having dinner. Boris, you know you can't have a Komodo dragon. The last thing in this house we need is a giant lizard with poisonous spit. He shares his idea that he wants a Komodo dragon. Then Dad thinks of an idea. What about the zoo? We could visit their kangaroo, their Komodo dragon. This gave Boris a better idea. That night he wrote a letter. I'm seeing his parents. Remember, his parents are thinking, we can take him to the zoo. And last time, I think his parents had an idea of moving the bus, right? So his parents kind of come up with ideas, don't they? When he gets an idea for a big adventure, they kind of think of a simpler idea. Here's his letter. To the zookeeper at the zoo. Dear zookeeper, would your Komodo dragon like a vacation? He could come to our house. It's at 24 Spring Road, Hog Bay. Come at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. We live in a van. Your friend, Boris. Boris found an envelope, and he found a stamp. And he mailed the letter. Chapter 3. The next morning, Boris couldn't wait to get to school. He couldn't wait to tell his friends, Frederick and Alice, I'm getting a Komodo dragon. Can we talk about something else? Komodo dragons bothered Frederick with his sharp teeth and poisonous spit. I need to build him a house. Oh, we'll help. Over the next few days, they built the house for the Komodo dragon. And Boris made a poster. Mrs. Constance, the librarian, helped to make copies. and soon the whole school was talking about Boris and the Komodo dragon. Chapter 4. Finally, it was Friday afternoon. One more sleep to go. Boris, a letter came for you today. She left it on the kitchen table. It was from the zoo. Dear Boris, thank you much for your letter. Unfortunately, the Komodo dragon does not take vacations. Perhaps you'd like to visit instead. We'd love to see you. Best wishes, Clara Price, head zookeeper. Oh, here he is. Uh-oh, he's getting upset again. I remember when he got upset in the last book, he looked like that, didn't he? Good news? Oh, yes. Oh, no, not really good news, right? Why do you think Boris was upset? Because all his friends thought he was going to get a Komodo dragon, right? Boris needed to think. That night he thought very hard. He was still thinking the next morning. Boris, half your class is standing in our front yard. Don't worry, Mom, I'll handle it. Boris took a deep breath and went outside. Welcome to... Where's the lizard? Over here, presenting the world's largest living lizard, the Komodo dragon. What is he going to do? There's nothing there. Look a little closer. In the cage, in the rock was this tiny lizard. That's not a Komodo dragon. It's a baby Komodo dragon. They start off small, just like babies. Can I hold it? Oh, no, you must never touch it. It may be small, but its bite is lethal. The lizard was very still until, where did it go? For a moment, then no one said anything. Then, it escaped. Okay, do you remember something went wrong in this book too? In this book, he was in the jungle or in the park and got lost. This one, everybody thinks that the Komodo dragon is on the loose. Okay, there's not much. I'll just finish it for you because I bet you'll wonder what happens, right? There was a picnic and everyone ran for their lives. But not nearly everyone. Now, there was no Komodo dragon and no skink. Boris said goodbye to Frederick and Alice. Chapter 6. He walked to his room. He had another look at the letter. And this is finally what he saw. And the envelope. Wait! That afternoon, the whole family went to the zoo, and Frederick and Alice came as well. There were tickets to the zoo. Here's his parents. Alice fed the seals, Frederick held the snake, and Boris got to see the real Komodo dragon. It was very big and a bit sleepy. They met Dr. Price, and she knew a lot about Komodo dragons, more than Boris. Komodo dragons live in trees until the age of 4, and so their parents won't eat them. That night, Boris looked at his photos of the zoo and the Komodo dragons, and he was thinking that next Tuesday, he might talk about something else. The skink is one of the world's smallest lizards. The end. Here lives the skink. So now he has a skink house in his backyard. So did that have a good ending? Yeah, he got to go to the zoo, right? And still meet the zookeeper and then learn more about the Komodo dragon. So it was a little bit different ending, right? This one he got lost, his parents found him and he got to keep a cat. But this one he got to go to the zoo and learn about the Komodo dragon. And they both had animals in them. So what you're thinking is about how this character is the same throughout the story and how he's different. So he's the same because he has an imagination. Something happens to him, right? And then he tries to have an adventure, and usually something goes wrong. His parents try to help him, but then it turns out good in the end. So that's how they're alike. So boys and girls, as you're reading today, think about from one book in a series to another book, how that character is the same, how what happens to him might be the same, or what happens to him might be slightly different, right? Okay, have fun reading today. I hope you enjoyed the story.